Hi, my name's Alistair Greetham. I'm a physiotherapist, movement educator, and rehabilitation specialist. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the concept of balance, which for many people, if you ask them, how's your balance? And they go, yeah, it's pretty good. And you ask them to demonstrate how they would know that, would say, look, I can stand on one leg quite successfully, and sometimes they can even do it standing on some kind of unstable surface. And I think that's a good thing. It's a useful thing to be able to do. And in reality, what it means is it means we're good at that particular activity. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be able to utilize that balance when we look at the range of functional activities that we carry out. So when we think about just simple activities like walking and running, more complex activities such as dancing, tennis, golf, hockey, football, rugby, any of these kind of activities that require changes of direction and use of the body in different ways really requires, if we're going to train our balance, a more complex and more sophisticated approach. So let's just think about the idea of, how do we make changes in terms of these kind of things? The first thing you have to do, if you want your body to do something different, you have to really have a sense of what it is you're currently doing. I think many times my experience is that people put a lot of energy into, I see it in people having golf lessons, I see people having tennis lessons, ballroom dancing lessons, tango lessons, all of these different activities that people do. They put a lot of attention into that, not so much, and the output of those kind of things, not so much into actually do they have the awareness of what it is they're currently doing so they can make a change to it. So I think one of the useful things is to really begin to have a different idea of how we're using some of these fundamentals, because it makes it much better when we want to take that into, for example, a lesson of some sort, or we want to uprate the way that we can use our own body and our own system. So there's a way that you can start to become more aware, which is by paying a bit more attention to what it is that you're doing. So it's useful to spend some time, just use spare bits of time. Whenever you're standing, wherever you've got a few minutes to spare, whether you're just waiting for the kettle to boil, whether you're waiting for a bus, whether you're waiting for a train, you're standing, waiting for the photocopier to do something, take any opportunity to begin to play around with transferring your weight from side to side and noticing what your body does. But you can also start to think of this as, all right, so what happens when I move in different directions? So if I step into my balance, for example, forwards, if I step into it sideways, if I step into it backwards, what happens if I'm turning as I step in? What happens when I turn out and I move back off the foot again? So notice all the components. Pay attention for a little while to your feet. So do you feel your feet stiffen and tense, or do you feel the feet relaxed and mobile? What happens to your ankle? And so notice how your foot operates on the floor. Notice what happens to your leg, to your thigh muscles, to the muscles around your knee. What do they do as you transfer weight? Does it change when you orientate into balance in these different directions? You can also pay attention to your pelvis. So again, for a period of time, notice, great, so what do I do with my pelvis? And does again that change as I move in different orientations? Lastly, I think it's useful then to pay attention to the rest of your body. How does your body then react? Does it change when you move your weight from one leg to the other? Is it different between the two sides? Does, for example, your breathing change? Do you feel differences around your shoulders? Does your head and neck orientate differently? So just spend some time for the next few days really being much more attentive in how you're organizing your body as you balance. And then over a period of time, we're going to start to introduce some exercises and things that you can begin to work on so that you can begin to make some inroads into improving your balance. So thanks for listening, and I hope there's been some interesting things in there for you. And I look forward to hearing how you're getting on with your balance awareness exercises. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.